I ain't gonna lie, I love that intro music, man.
It's good stuff.
It is. You did good. You did good.
We did good. We did that together, brother.
Yeah, you're the brains. I just got an ear for it. You know what I mean?
I think there's more there that we can work with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right. Hey, everybody, welcome to, I guess we're going to say Talking Sports with Hoot and B.T. At least that's where we're at right now. You guys can send us a message and suggest
anything you think is catchy.
Yeah, like a name for this show, because eventually it's not going to be listed on the same catalog as all the rest of the Hoot Hog show.
It's going to have its own separate feed, its own separate thing. Everything on it will be its own separate entity, except you will have it will be under the Hoot Hob Show umbrella.
Yeah,
because our show is we have a lot of things irons in the fire, as we call it.
Indeed. So speaking of irons that got extremely red hot,
what has happened lately in sports that's significant for us to talk about? I can't really think of anything. I know last week my brackets went to absolute. Because whatever happened on that first Thursday, it just was like a dumpster fire from there.
It's like everyone has Kentucky going to the Final Four, and they're gone. But let's see, what was it that happened? Oh, yes, big brain moves by Hoot, right? So I want to go ahead and say that I went on record on Facebook, on this recording, and I constantly said that Arkansas would win against the number 1 seed, Gonzaga Bulldogs, okay? And then yesterday I took to Facebook yesterday morning before the game, and I was like, Arkansas by 5. I said what I said.
Yeah, you posted it on Facebook. I believe you posted it on your personal Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah, you went out there on a limb. You've been calling this from the beginning.
True that.
You said mid-season that the Arkansas Razorbacks were going to win the national championship.
Yes, I did say that. And
then Colby and I looked at you like, what?
Yeah.
And
now you're kind of like, oh, what?
No, that team that played last night can beat anybody in the country.
That team can beat anybody. Okay, so I do have to apologize to the Razorbacks. It was no disrespect meant when I said by 5, but I will correct myself. The Razorbacks actually won by 6. So, you
felt you had to justify that.
And I do apologize to Muss and the Razorbacks.
No disrespect.
None meant at all, boys. Hey, back home, we're still cheering for you, man. Go get out there in San Fran and tear it up against Duke now. So that is the coming conversation is now we have the Duke Blue Devils, who is an iconic basketball school, okay? This
and the
is
history
a dynasty.
That the Arkansas Razorbacks have with the Duke Blue Devils. If you want to go back to the Nolan Richardson
I would say, well, the thing is, the last time we faced off against Duke was in 1994.
Yes.
And if you don't know what happened against Duke in 1994, the Arkansas Razorbacks won the national championship.
Yep. And if you recall correctly, and I've actually watched the 40 Minutes of Hell documentary for Nolan Richardson, the ESPN, really well done.
True that.
And that was one of the things was going into that game, the Arkansas Razorbacks were considered the dumber team.
Yeah.
They weren't as smart as those boys at Duke. And that's kind of the way this narrative is going again, where we're Duke. We're ESPN and CBS are gonna shower us with love and affection.
Well, just like they did with Gonzaga. Oh, but that's exactly what they do with Gonzaga. I mean, I think we even had it shared to the show's social media stuff. I'm so glad CBS had 3.
They brought in an extra mic.
Yeah, they brought in Grant Hill so that they can throw on a little more of that unabashed love for Gonzaga.
Exactly.
I mean, my gosh, they laid it on so thick. I was
down to the buzzer, and I don't know if they're doing it to build the hype if that team happens to lose, or if they genuinely just look down upon anything that is not their darlings.
Yeah, well, and
there's a bias.
We've always said. And Arkansas fans have always said, and it's become increasingly evident, that there's, we don't get our respect. The Arkansas Razorbacks do not get their respect.
Never. They never have.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would take for them to get a little bit of respect, especially considering the ass whooping that they put on Gonzaga last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to say what it was. They won by 6,
look,
but that was...
The points, the scoreboard did not...
Gonzaga was not going to win that game.
No, absolutely not. And look, Gonzaga, it's not like the Zags went out and played like scrubs or anything like that.
No.
They came out and they played their game.
They came to play.
And let me tell you something. I had to tell my wife even halfway through, I was like, I have to be careful talking all this smack because I'm actually a Drew Timme fan. Like Drew Timme, I think, is a fantastic basketball player.
Timmy and Slender Man.
Yeah, Timmy and Slender Man. Of course, I mean, if you saw once again on my personal feed.
You know what? That took off on social media and actually went somewhere. Timmy and Slender Man. I don't know if they took it from you and then they just didn't give cred, but that took off on social media. And if you search it now, you'll see Timmy from South Park and Slender Man as a duo.
That's bogus, man. That was my joke. Anyway, whatever. It was probably someone else's way before it was mine. So but I didn't. It came out of my brain, but that doesn't mean it didn't already exist.
Yeah, it didn't mean somebody hadn't already posted it.
Yeah, I say it was already a pretty funny comparison.
But you got to remember that Peepaw's not as plugged into social media, so you're not on Twitter like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, man, the Hogs came out and they played the way that I knew that they could and the way that I knew that they would. JD Note, he put the team on his back. Hey, how about Trey Wade? Welcome to the show.
Right.
Trey Wade. Now, look, Trey has always been a very crucial part of making everything work. But he's never stepped up into the spotlight, really, up until last night. Wow. Big number 3 for Razorbacks.
A lot of people were watching that game because that's the number 1 team in the country. Number 1 in the bracket. They're not just the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 overall.
Yeah.
And down goes Frazier.
Yeah, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. But we do have another mountain to climb now. So we have the Blue Devils. We've got the Duke Coach K's that we have to go
I can't even wear my Nikes right now.
No. Look, here's the deal. Duke is a dynasty school. Duke is where people go to play basketball, okay? And I will not take that level of respect away from them. I'm also going to add something to that, though, is they have another, like another level of intensity coming, and that's it. This is Coach K's swan song, man.
Yeah.
This is it.
The Razorbacks are looking to play spoiler to the perfect story.
Yeah, and I want that so much. Do you know how... Look, have you ever had your child try to tell you a story and you keep ruining it for them?
Hoot is the ultimate troll. I know this to be absolutely true.
God.
Even if this wasn't Arkansas, if this was St. Mary's,
I would be begging for him to win.
Begging for him to beat the Dukies.
Yeah, I'd be like, come on, beat them. But like I said, I want Coach K and the Blue Devils to get their respect that they have, that they've earned. This is the Duke Blue Devils,
He's built a
man.
legacy there. Once he, graduated, what was that, Army, and then went to Duke.
Yeah, he graduated Army. He coached Army, and then went to Duke. He's been at Duke since 1985.
Yeah.
This man has been there for the better part of 5 decades.
He's been there since before I was born.
Yeah.
And I'm old.
4 decades, excuse me.
4 decades.
Not 5 4 decades, not 5
Jesus,
decades.
how old do you think I am?
No, I was talking about, actually, it's how old do I think Coach K is? And the answer is 400.
Methuselah.
Yeah, but anyway, but all I want now that we get to face off with them, I wish we faced them in the Final Four or that we were in a different region than them so that we could make it a little further before we get them. But, Elite Eight is what it is, and our region was a super tough one to win.
Yeah, it's not been an easy road to where they've gotten.
No,
not at all.
And I think
went through number 1 overall. I'm just saying.
And all we got to do now is just take that same level of fight to the Blue Devils on Saturday. Bro, I'm telling you.
Hey,
if we win Saturday, I'm telling you, man, that's it. That's a wrap.
All I know is they just crapped all over my bracket entirely because I told you I had picked Gonzaga.
Yeah, I know.
But I also had picked Arkansas to lose, I think, the previous game, didn't I?
You had them. No, you had them.
No, I had them losing to the Zags.
Yeah,
this was the game that I thought they were going to lose.
Yeah, I say, no, you gave them a little respect.
I just
Sweet
thought
16.
that Gonzaga was going to win, so I didn't.
Well, why wouldn't you think that? It's Gonzaga.
Yeah, Well, after what I saw last night, I have more faith in the Razorbacks than ever before because the performance that they did, that was a solid victory.
Absolutely. Man, Audie's Tony, and that dude is just...
And I think Eric Musselman is turning himself into a superstar coach right in front
absolutely.
of us. I think the television is starting to notice that there's star there.
Yeah.
And he's always had the potential in the past because he's got this personality. So I'm glad to see Coach getting his kudos.
What I'm expecting now is that with our win tomorrow night against Duke, you're really going to see the torch being passed between coaches. When it comes down to those iconic NCAA coaches, I think that you're going to see Duke Blue Devils, Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils hand that torch to Eric Musselman and the Razorbacks. I think that. First off, I think Hunter Yurachek will write whatever check it takes to keep Eric Musselman.
To keep Musselman?
Yeah, I think he would, and I think he'd be foolish not to. But, I mean, if you can't tell, I am a big fan of everything Hunter Yurachek has been doing on the Hill.
As far as him taking care of business?
Yeah, the way the hires he's made with Eric Musselman, with Sam Pittman, with...
a long way from those awful Jeff Long days.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even, well, you can't really say anything about Peepaw. Like, Frank Broyles had some fantastic hires in his day, but he was there for 400 years.
Yeah.
So, see, he was there from the dawning of the university, you know. So you had...
The dawn of time.
Yeah. So, you know, he was responsible for Nolan, you know, so... And that in and of itself, that's enough of to me, that's enough of a reputation. It's like, what'd you do? I hired Nolan Richardson. They're like, well, that's a pretty good hire. Good job.
Well, soon Hunter's going to be able to say, what did you do?
Yeah,
I hired Eric Musselman.
He'd be like, I hired Eric Musselman and Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
And you know,
and
I can't remember the gymnastics coach. She's a gold medalist. Dang it, I can't remember her name. But he hired her, and what's she doing? Winning titles with the gymnastics team. Bro, if you seriously look it up sometime, the University of Arkansas is probably one of the most, I'm going to go straight Arkansas on this, is the winningest program that you can find out there.
Just hasn't been in the most. Just look at the track dynasty alone.
Yeah.
The track records in themselves are akin to James Wooden numbers.
Yeah.
That he put up for UCLA. So it's remarkable, especially considering that track team, what that was like for 50 plus years where it was just dominance.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, like I said, it's just not, you know, track isn't relevant. And I'm like, okay, just because it doesn't draw the same viewers.
I disagree. Track is very relevant. Yeah. If you don't believe us, listen to Friday's episode.
Yeah. Yeah, true that. All kinds of things are relevant whatever. Anyway, we'll just move past that. But, yeah, man, I see us coming in. I see us having another very hard-fought game against Duke. But I see us progressing to the Final Four. And of course, you know where I see us progressing to. I see us being national champions. That's the way it is.
You called your shot months ago.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm staying with it, baby. And it looks right now, it's right on track. So we'll move, on past that.
Past March Madness, because we know our projections and where we got our projections.
Yeah, and at this point, there's no sense of touching anything else March Madness because everyone's bracket's ruined. So
yeah, I got a message from ESPN, do a second chance, do over. It's like, no. It's at this point, it's pathetic.
Yeah, it's like, no, you don't understand. It all started when Kentucky went down. As soon as that happened, I was like,
down goes Frazier.
Yeah, and the rest of the bracket just crumbled. I mean, how about Houston upsetting Arizona last night?
I called that one. I have that one on my bracket. That's like one of the ones. I have Houston going pretty far. I think they had them going to the Zags and then losing, or
really in the national championship game.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Houston's a good enough team. I definitely believe that. And there's a former Razorback, Reggie Chaney, is playing for them and having a pretty good season. Neither here nor there. Not that I'm, bitter. I'm actually not. I think that move was good for Reggie Chaney. I don't think he would have
fit here.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think he could have been that level of star at Arkansas because, like you said, he just didn't fit with what we were trying to do. Either way, man, congrats to Houston for upsetting the Wildcats of Arizona. I mean, that's a tough win. I mean, that was a real tough win.
It is. So it's going to be an exciting finish to the March Madness.
Yeah, I mean, there are no more number ones, are there? They're all gone now.
I think so.
Baylor got beat out. Gonzaga lost last night. Arizona lost last night. And I don't know who the other number one seed was. In the Midwest.
At this point, seeding doesn't really matter. It's just
it's
a
over
bunch of matchups till you get to the championship.
Yeah, that's it. Only a few more to go. So, touch NBA for a minute.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch over to the NBA. Chris Paul has come back, and
yeah, man, CP3.
The Suns are back doing what they've been doing.
They're going to be a problem.
It looks like so's Golden State. Golden State's kind of putting it back together again, and they're starting to see it sneaky good. So. Yeah,
what's crazy, Golden State, like Steve Kerr's like, hey, we're getting the band back together, and Steph was like, well, all right, let's do it.
Well, they also have Moody out there.
Yeah, man, Moses Moody. He's going off.
Yeah, he is. He's playing really well. So is, Poole. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head for the Warriors. But he has really stepped up his game as well.
Yeah. So let's not talk about great basketball. Okay, let's talk about mediocrity in the NBA. So let's talk about the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
Want.
So we don't want to continue to talk about the West because
it depresses me, I guess.
it makes you sad because the team that we root for has kind of shown its true colors as of late, especially since you're only down one more player, and one player is not a difference between the way that they're performing.
I mean, Lonzo Ball is a big time player.
It's disappointing that he seems to be having setbacks on his rehab too.
Yeah.
Because we fully expected to have him back in a Bulls uniform on the court by now.
Yeah. Well, I expected him back. I thought he'd be back before Caruso.
Yeah.
And then it got pushed, and I was like, okay, so him and Caruso should be coming back at the same time. Well, Caruso's been back 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they're playing great. Caruso's performing, and even Paul is doing well. Patrick Williams is doing great out there.
Yeah. Patrick Williams looks good.
It's just as a team, they're
not
playing defense. They're taking bad shots.
A lot of bad shots.
And they just don't. There's something about it. I can't say it's team chemistry because I watched the All Access on their YouTube page, and they seem like they all get along.
Seem like they gel well.
Not chemistry. They play.
But you can have good team
basketball chemistry.
Yeah, I say you can have good team chemistry without having good court chemistry.
Yeah, they don't seem to have good on-court chemistry. I feel like the role players are too indecisive. They won't make the shot. They'll defer the pass rather than try to take the open shot because they don't trust themselves.
Yeah,
and then it becomes the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan show.
Yep.
And you can't win like that.
No, especially the biggest, guess you can say, taking your foot off the throttle I've seen is Ayo Dosunmu.
He's a rookie, man.
I know, but he started coming out playing like a big dog, like a veteran.
Well, he's also now in a backup role to Caruso starting.
That's true.
So he's kind of stepped back. You have to remember, though, that Dosunmu came on like gangbusters.
Yeah.
And we didn't expect that. And then he had to guard the Trae Youngs of the league, Luka Doncic of the league, and try to keep up with them while also being a rookie in the NBA. So I think it's all kind of caught back up.
Sure.
And he is in the role that he needs to be in coming off the bench.
I agree.
But that's where having Lonzo Ball back would have made a huge difference because Lonzo's also a team leader and he plays defense. And it gives you another threat from three. It's very disappointing, these setbacks, but I'm looking at big picture here that I did not expect much out of the Chicago Bulls this year. I thought that DeMar DeRozan was going to be a good hire, or a good sign, and he was someone that you should invest your money in because I thought star, but I didn't have expectations of championship this year. Right. And then they just came out of the gate, in spite of the injuries, playing so well and meshing so well. That of course I got excited because it was reminiscent of the 90s.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, and I'll just kind of let you tell me, but like the way it kind of feels to me is like this is not our year. This has been a good year, but this is not our year. I think that we're looking at a serious chance of being serious contenders.
Yes.
Next season.
Year. Because you'll have people that are injured right now getting fully healthy, and you'll be able to trim some of this fat, cut some of this dead weight that you've been carrying around.
Tony
Harden.
Bradley. Oh, we were talking about fat. I was like, James Harden, get out of
Thomas.
Here. Yeah.
Tony Brown Jr.
Yeah.
I'm just saying these are some people that I think are the liabilities on the team. Because you have a solid foundation, and you can play up and you can work around the positions that you have because you have solid foundations with your DeMar, LaVine.
But like we've already said, though, you got to give LaVine his money. I mean,
you're right. That's true because this is a contract season for him. He's a free agent at the end of the year. And if you look across around the league, there are a lot of shooting guards that are going to become available as free agents this upcoming season. Do you want to max out that money on Zach LaVine and show him the loyalty that he's kind of earned, considering when you traded for him, he was thrown in on the trade. He wasn't thought of anything.
Yeah, right.
So they got him from Minnesota, and he's turned himself into a perennial all-star.
Well, I would say, and that's something that we've even talked about last week, was that, I mean, Zach LaVine is the Chicago Bulls franchise player. I mean, here's the deal. If you think Chicago Bulls, most of the time, what's going to pop in your head is Zach LaVine.
He's like 24 years old, too. He's still young.
Yeah, which
still
is
so young.
crazy to me.
Well, actually, I think he's even younger than that. He may be 22, turning 23. He's pretty young. Like, he's a young
No,
man.
I think
Kobe's the one that's 22, right?
Yeah, Kobe White is 22. He's 20. Zach LaVine's either 24 or 25.
Yeah, he's a little older than him. But the thing is that is your youth and your foundation. Your Dosumus, the guys that are you're going to have for a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, Lonzo Ball's young.
You have him for 3 years. You have to look at that as well with this injury. Is he may not make it back this season. If he's in the playoffs, I wouldn't risk hurting him if you're just going to have a first round exit to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So you let him heal, you let him rehab, and you come back next year because Lonzo Ball is with the Bulls for the next 3 years. And between having him, DeRozan, and you re-sign Levine, and if you can keep Vooch and these parts going, you're not going to let Caruso go. No, Caruso's with the Bulls for
We've all seen the tragic mistakes of the Lakers letting Caruso go.
Here's the other thing is Alex Caruso's become a cult hero in Chicago.
Yep.
And if the fan base would take a huge hit if they let Alex Caruso
I'm telling you, the Chi-Town loves Alex
gets
Caruso.
the biggest reaction, and that's even DeMar, the MVP, DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
So he still gets the largest reaction, and it's Alex Caruso,
Yeah.
Off the bench.
For real. The bald Mamba, baby. Yeah. So let's talk about the MVP conversation for a minute. Realistically speaking, who do you got?
Joel Embiid.
Embiid.
He's just dominating out there. I've personally watched him do it to Giannis and the Bucks. I've watched him do it to the Bulls. I've just seen him just take games over.
Yeah.
And James Harden is an afterthought, and it's a nice bonus perk to have him.
Sure.
But it's Joel Embiid's show.
If you're facing once again a franchise player,
and that's no disrespect to Joker out there in Denver, he's putting up crazy numbers too.
Nikola Jokic,
man, he is putting up records, records that you haven't seen that are Wilt Chamberlain-esque records.
Yeah.
But Joel Embiid there's something about him this year. This is his year.
I think
he's had it from the beginning, and I don't see anyone taking it from him.
I think so. That's where I'm going with it too. I would love to see DeMar get it, but let's be realistic.
Yeah, I'm hoping DeMar will get second team All NBA.
Yeah,
because I don't think he'll get first team, and third team seems disrespectful to me.
Yeah, because it's DeMar.
Because of the season that he's put up as
exactly.
well. He was on a record pace, and until the rest of the team decided they didn't know how to play zone defense.
Right.
It was his trophy to lose.
No, I agree with that.
The month of February, it was his trophy to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm with you though. I see Joel Embiid being league MVP this year, and I think he's earned it. I feel, I don't have a lot of malice against Joel Embiid. The only reason I really hated Philly, it's Philly, but other than that, it was Ben Simmons. Even with old Chunky on there, who's not Chunky anymore. Hey, let me ask you that. How did that happen? Apparently, get traded to the 76ers and you get, bam, right back into shape. Do you think it was just because he hated where he was at so much?
I think it's that he hated where he was at so much and he wasn't getting along with his teammates. There was a separation there.
Because, James Harden looks like James Harden again.
It does seem, however, like Brooklyn has embraced Ben Simmons.
That's okay. I hope they just continue to embrace him and his jump shot gets worse.
I hope Ben Simmons turns it around and gets his head back in the game and he improves that jump shot. But
I do not. I think he is garbage.
But at the moment, it's the Kevin Durant show. It has been the Kevin Durant show. And that's
KD's been putting on a show here lately.
But Kyrie Irving is back.
Yeah,
and now New York says he can play.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. He's dropping these 60-point games on people. People better watch out. This Nets team is about to go off.
Yeah, for real. Because
Kyrie
has been the missing
and you get Ben
piece.
Simmons involved in this and him doing what he does best, being a defender, because he is hands down one of the best defensive players in the league, no doubt. It's the jump shot and the free throws need work. But for what Ben Simmons does, he brings that to the table. And you have Embiid and you have... Or not Embiid, excuse me. And you have Durant, and you have Kyrie.
Yep.
You're unstoppable on offense.
Yeah, I would say I think that the Harden thing was not a good fit. I think there, and look, it is what it is. I think when you get Durant,
trying to fit a round thing in a very round thing in a square face.
He's trying to fit a large round peg, and I mean, it's still a round hole, but that peg is fat.
It just won't fit. We have a situation going on here.
That peg's fat. Anyway.
No, I'm really shocked as well how much weight loss that he did, but it seems like he
looks like James Harden.
He looks like James Harden again, and
Yeah.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like the fact that he seems happy and healthy again. I hate the fact that it seems like he quit on someone else again.
Yeah.
Because that's been the thing
that's his MO.
that's followed him around, and I hate that he lived up to it, but I wish him nothing but the best as far
Sure.
as getting his game back and being James Harden again.
Yeah.
Because I know that whenever he was fat James Harden and he looked like Mark Henry from the WWE, that was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, like his last year with the Rockets, so he like looked like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus. You remember that? But, oh man, yeah. So I don't know. And pretty much like if we shifted back over to the Western Conference, we just say like these men know how to play basketball.
Pretty much. Even the Lakers are creeping up on everybody right now.
Which is disgusting.
In spite of Russell Westbrook, who, again, is sneakily climbing up like the all-time scoring list. Nobody's paying attention to this because you just forget how good Russ used to be.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just saying watch out for Lakers right now because LeBron James is having one of the best seasons he's had, and people aren't paying any attention to it.
No, and same
Because
reason
the
like
Lakers suck.
Yeah, because the Lakers have sucked, and LeBron's off court. I'm not even going to say antics because it's not like an antic. It's just he's living his life loudly the past few years. That makes it sound different than what it actually is too. That's not what I meant.
Loud and proudly?
Yeah.
No, pivots worse.
Okay.
Oh, it got worse.
He's been outspoken about his opinions, about his personal opinions.
His personal opinions have become more. He's become more vocal,
right? And so that led to people like me, being like, "No, I like you as a basketball player. I don't care that you're an activist. I think it's great that you're an activist, but when you're on ESPN, just like basketball. Let's do basketball."
And that opens up that debate of if that's their platform, are they going to use their platform? How they use their platform, and how people feel about it. There's some people that don't like. They don't like their politics and their real world interacting with their escape. Yeah. And that's what sports is for a lot of people.
Sure, yeah.
But there's also those that there's not a point not to say that is an opportunity for them to voice an opinion and get it to a larger audience.
Well, but that's the whole thing is that even me, I'm talking to myself here. Yeah. Like you have to understand that these athletes are not just athletes; they are human beings who do have opinions and that do have feelings and that do, they are human beings. So, like, they have a platform; they're going to use it to voice their personal opinions and things. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, but at the same time, just like me putting my opinions out on this. I have to be open to criticism on people saying like, no one wants to hear you. Okay, well, turn me off. You know what I'm saying?
There's there's just like you said that because he's vocal and decided he wanted to take a polarizing stance on things, he has to suffer or deal with the
consequences of people
while
who
there were people that will side with him and support him.
Yeah.
And we can't not address. I'm like-minded with him in a lot of ways.
Sure, yeah.
So there are those that side with him. However, you have to know that you're going to segregate your audience, and some people are going to you're going to lose them because you've lost the connection that they used to have before they knew that about you.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of the things is I don't want that to ever get in the way or influence anybody. As if you want to be around me, I don't want that to be something that influence you because I'm not ever going to be obnoxious about it.
Yeah, I would say. But that's the big.
But I'm using my platform in a different way.
Sure, but there's a difference in putting your opinion out there for people to hear it and to be like, okay, I either do or don't want to be around this person. But the way you put your opinion out there, because I know you personally, and anyone who listens to the show knows you well enough by now, to where they know that you're going to put your opinion out there, and they're not. No one has to get cut off from that, right? Because you're like, this is what I believe. And I'm like, well, I don't believe that. And you're like, okay, well, we just don't agree.
Yeah.
Well, with other people, like, and because they come out and say it, like LeBron James has, it's like, if you disagree with me, don't be around me, all this kind of stuff. Like
that in itself, it's very bombastic and it's aggressive,
exactly,
and it's antagonizing, and a lot of things that's off-putting.
Yeah, because with me on a lot of
I don't like that you're either with me or you're against me.
Yeah, it's like nah, that's not true because like,
what if you fall down? That means I can't help you up.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and I don't want to see you fall.
Right. And anybody who disagrees with me, like, if they like, let's look at it like this. someone who you and I, we disagree on a lot of things, politically speaking, and all that kind of stuff. We won't stay on this very long, but like you trip and fall on the street, and I reach out my hand. You're like, you disagree with me? Don't touch me, you damn dirty ape. And I'd be like, well, all right, bye. You know what I mean? Ain't no skin off my nose, whatever, bye.
Yeah, I made the effort.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's the same thing. If you disagree with me, then you have to stay away from, no. Let's just disagree and be like, okay, listen, with LeBron, he could be like, listen, white guy, you're not going to ever understand what it's like to be a black guy. And I could be like, listen, you're probably right, but listen, black guy, not every white guy hates you. You know what I'm saying? And once you can join hands.
Wait. You want peppers on your pizza or not?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. We had that conversation. It's over with. So do you want extra cheese or not?
Yeah, the question is, damn, man, and are you going halves on this?
Yeah, I just need to know, like, LeBron, you got more money than me. Are you going to buy the pizza or am I? I don't know.
That's all I need to know here, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we are human beings and we should be able to coexist.
Exactly. So the long version of a very short point is, these guys are still people. And they're going to have opinions. So, I mean, just kind of keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm talking to myself because I'm notorious for, oh, is that right?
Yeah, we say that, and then next year he comes out and he's washed. It's like, I told you so.
I told you sucked. But, yeah. I don't I think LeBron is an egotistical is really the reason I'm not a big fan of his.
No, that's God. It's the reason I don't like Isaiah Thomas.
Bro.
It's because he seems phony and fake. And then there was also those New York general manager allegations, things that happened. I mean, as far the way he comes across and has always come across with the things that he said going way back into the 80s, he seems like he's two-faced.
Yeah.
So I don't like that about him. So that's the reason that I am. And he, dominated Chicago Bulls, which was that in itself. But that's
playing on that bully Piston team.
That's the reason I don't like Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. But I can't not say that Isaiah Thomas isn't in my conversation for one of the greatest players of all time. Oh,
absolutely.
Because he played ball like nobody I've ever seen play ball. There's nobody that's ever emulated him to where it's like, oh, he's playing just like Isaiah Thomas. Because Zeke did it his way.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the same thing. It's just it's not a political reason I don't like him.
Right.
I don't like him because, like you said, he seems like.
Right. All right. So we'll move past the NBA. NFL, I would say on the NFL, like there's still not much to talk about. Like nobody knows what's going to happen. But we did know this. Tyreek Hill is now on the Dolphins.
And he got paid.
Like, wow.
Right?
Bro. Like so much money, and Miami's like, yeah, it's Tyreek Hill. We'll pay him.
Yeah,
we'll pay him.
We'll pony up. No doubt. Now, who's going to throw him the ball? Is it Tua? I
don't know if Tua is the one to do it.
You want to know what the rumor mill is saying right now? Now, this is just rumor mill, and it's only blowing up in like social media world. Rumors are that the Dolphins are trying to find a way to trade to get Brady from Tampa Bay. Laugh at it what you will, but they would have to trade so much of their roster to try to get him.
They would only play with 11 people. They would only have 11 people. Everyone would be playing offense and defense. That's it.
Tom Brady's the kicker, too.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, but that's... think of a concept, though, that if they had a better quarterback in Miami to try to get the ball to him.
Sure, but I mean, my gosh. But it comes down to the same thing we talked about with Dallas, getting rid of Amari Cooper. They got rid of him, like they traded him for nothing, like a 5th round draft pick or for 5 draft picks.
Yeah.
I'm like, bruh, that's Tyreek Hill.
Yes.
What are you doing? Like,
yes. And
why would you not get rid of like Patrick Mahomes or something? I mean, because you got to think, if I own the Kansas City Chiefs, I am looking for a reason to never have anyone connected to Patrick Mahomes at the stadium again. I'll be like, tell your little brother he can't come back. Tell your girlfriend she can't come back. It's done. Keep them away from here. They are obnoxious and they are driving down ticket sales.
Yeah, I think this is gonna severely hurt the Kansas City Chiefs' chances of getting back to the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. You got rid of your biggest target.
Yeah, I understand everything that Patrick Mahomes brings to the table here as a star athlete, great quarterback, good decision maker.
Sure.
Who's he going to throw the ball to now?
Travis Kelce?
That was his number one target. That was his man. That was the one that would save. That was his Amari Cooper if he was stacked.
Yeah.
That was his security blanket.
Right.
And who's he going to check down now, too? Because his check down is now his number one.
Yeah. My whole thing is just like, what, you're going to go, like, the only thing they have now is Travis Kelce at tight end. Like, that's all you got. What are you going to do? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it baffles me. It's just like the decision that the Green Bay Packers losing their best wide
Devontae
receiver.
Adams.
Yeah, I don't understand it. How you let
just
that
so
happen.
you can pile money on Aaron Rodgers? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers, but what are you doing? This dude has literally.
I don't know who got blindsided worse, if it was Patrick or if it was
Devontae. Who knows? I mean, of course, Devontae's getting paid too. Let's not play broke peasant with him.
Yeah,
he just signed a 141 over 5 with
up until
Las Vegas.
Tyreek, he was number one.
Yeah,
highest compensated wide receiver of all time.
What did Tyreek end up getting?
Tyreek Hill was $120 million 4 years, including $72.2 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I say it was a lower amount, but it was also a less amount, of, like a smaller amount of time. So he got 120 something. You said
yes,
over 4,
and a 72 guarantee.
72 guarantee. What a paycheck.
Yeah, I'm trying to go far enough back where we can see Devontae's.
His was 141 and a quarter over 5. I remember because I was like 141.25 million over 5 years was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Didn't Vaughn man, what? Von
Miller?
Yeah, Von Miller. Didn't he get a big paycheck going to Buffalo?
He did.
Yeah.
He absolutely did. That's what's been crazy about this offseason is so many things are happening so rapidly, so quickly, and you turn around, you blink twice, and one of your favorite players is now playing in a completely different team. New team. You don't.
Yeah, at a different time
what
zone.
Happened? It's like, wow, what happened? It's like, hey, Brady came back.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I'm a little upset with Adam. Okay,
Schefter.
Yes, if he had kept his mouth shut, we could have started our lives of football without Tom Brady. But no, now we got another year of, I've got unfinished business. Bruh.
And then Tom Brady could be out there playing pickup games with MJ.
Yeah, right? But look, here's my whole thing. Like, when it comes to Tom Brady making the whole unfinished business remark, I'm like, bruh, you've got like 6 rings, 2 MVPs. Like, what else do you want? Like, what do you mean unfinished business? You went to Tampa and in your first year won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What else do you want? I got unfinished business. No, what you got is a family you don't want to spend time with. Like, we can be honest. I mean,
and he's got a competitive issue.
Yeah.
He's so competitive to the point that he just can't stop competing. It's the same thing that Michael had. It's why he came back out of retirement a second time.
But you know what? I didn't agree with that either. As big of an MJ fan as I am,
the
whenever he
Wizard
came
is
back,
something you don't like to think about.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. He still came back.
Missed the dunk in like the All-Star game. It's just doink.
Yeah. Well, but here's the deal. Overall, Mike was still playing at a high level in D.C., but it didn't sit right. It was like, bro, you retired the first time, played a little bit of baseball. That didn't work out great. And then you came back, and we were all happy to see it. And on top of that, you came back, and you started just stacking up champs again.
You forgot whenever he went and hung out with the Looney Tunes and saved the world.
That is true. I did forget that Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny, and a ragtag group of Looney Tunes saved the world from extraterrestrials.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you to those brave Looney Tunes
and
Mike.
Jordan.
And not to mention Newman from Seinfeld for some reason.
Yeah. Bill Murray.
And Larry Bird. So, yeah, Larry is not white. Larry is clear.
What's Chevy Chase doing here? I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this movie.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Dan Aykroyd's in this movie. Oh, that was funny. That's really funny.
Good stuff.
It is. There's other sports, right?
There is.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball, spring training still popping.
Yeah.
Yankees are kind of putting it together, but we don't know what's going to really happen.
We're a long ways from
from
seeing the Yankees start to do any kind of real winning. They've got to do their winning mid-season, not in the postseason by any means, and certainly not in the beginning either. Because oh, hey, that's another thing, man. Okay, so I know. Okay, you're the wrestling fan here, right?
Okay.
So I heard It was just something that came up like a reel or a TikTok video or something, right? And they just used the audio, and it was the John Cena.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, right? So why is it in my head, my brain works so weird, right? So I hear the ba ba da ba 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 da ba, and then my brain says ba 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 da 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 da. Like, why do I go to Price is Right from that every time?
John Cena.
I don't know why, but it happens.
I don't know. Did you have one too many sick days as a child?
Maybe so, bro. I'm telling you, hanging out at
Chicken noodle
grandma's,
soup, watching Price is Right.
But you got to watch the Price is Right before Young and the Restless comes on. Yeah. But that does move us into talking about the WWE.
We just saw some breaking news right before we started recording.
Yeah.
Legendary professional wrestler Triple H has announced his full retirement from active wrestling. Now, this isn't surprising considering he hasn't been like a steady on-screen performer wrestling week in, week out for a very long time. He would do one-off matches like WrestleMania. But what this is meaning is that he's stepping away from television on-screen role as well. He's not going to be an on-screen figure that you see very often. He's taken a full step back from all of it, and it's because he recently had a massive heart attack and had heart surgery.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was pretty scary there for a little bit. And during the time that he lost his, wasn't able to work because he was, recovering, and he's been recovering for a while. The NXT brand that he had helped develop from the ground up, which has been their developmental brand for the longest time, but it's also its own separate brand from the WWE. Vince McMahon and the higher-ups have come through and completely gutted that. They've changed it from the ground up. It used to be, shot darker. Now it's very bright. Everything is lit up and colorful. It was black and gritty, and there was a lot of metal. You could hear metal was the theme music on a lot of the events and the pay-per-views, the premium live events. And then now it is just transitioned to, more hip-hop. The theme song music is no longer metal; it's now a hip hop song by Wale.
Okay,
so
all right.
they've just transitioned. They used to go out on the independent circuit and they would find the hottest independent wrestling names that were out there that were a buzz, and they would bring these guys in and kind of create a character around that and write storylines, and hopefully that character would then take that role to regular WWE programming. Well, now they've made a step back, and they're no longer hiring those young independent wrestlers. They're now hiring prospects. They're hiring, models and former athletes that may have been professional football players that didn't quite make it.
Sure,
and
yeah.
they're trying to transition into something else.
But that's what happened with like Dwayne Johnson, right? He played at the University of Miami.
Exactly,
and
that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to develop in-house talent like a John Cena,
Okay.
or a Rock. The thing about that, though, is like the people that built the WWE's backbone were veteran independent wrestlers that built their legacy by learning how to be wrestlers, and then Vince McMahon and his product making them entertainers and stars on television. But in the instance of like The Rock, where homegrown talent, there is something to be said about that, and I think that's where they've pivoted their perspective. And some of the on-screen, television itself has taken a hit because of it, because you're losing some of the quality performances you're seeing in the matches.
Sure.
Because you're now having inexperienced pretty people as opposed to talented independent wrestlers who'd been doing it for 13 years in gymnasiums across the country.
Right, yeah.
That nobody's
Doing
seen
the sideshow act for a while. Yeah,
traveling show independently. So now we live in a world where there's an alternative. There's AEW that exists.
Yeah.
All Elite Wrestling exists on Turner channels, TNT and
Yeah.
TBS. So if you do want to follow a product that is closer to that older independent wrestling style, and you'll see your guys like Sting and these guys, Christian Cage, the Hardy Boys, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, these guys all work for AEW, and you'll see that wrestling style that you may be used to. And you have an alternative with the WWE, which is all of the pop and circumstance in the show.
Right.
So you have an alternative to choose from there. And there's always the fun wars, kind of like there used to be whenever we were kids between the two brands.
Yeah, like the WCW versus
there is a
thing.
lot of competition there. It's just for the most part they exist in separate spheres because one product is so vastly different than the other.
Right.
Because WWE is sports entertainment.
Yeah.
I believe last year I saw some match where zombies came out and dragged a wrestler out of the arena.
Oh, okay.
And you're not going to really see that in the AEW where
Because
it's
it's
more grounded
more-
in competitive wrestling. Yeah.
Right, I got you.
You're going to get your gimmicky crap because that is
sure,
pro wrestling.
because it's
It is
still
at its heart.
wrestling. Yeah.
But you're also going to have higher quality performances in ring. The matches will be really exciting.
Yeah.
And in the WWE, you're going to get a lot of show.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said that there's a lot of fun and a lot of show. I mean,
Yeah,
there
sure,
is.
sure. I would say, like, I don't follow it at all anymore. But as a kid, I always liked it and everything, and it was cool. Of course, I always liked the South Park episode where they
Did wrestling?
did backyard
dramatic
wrestling. Yeah,
storylines.
yeah.
So you
Cartman's
can
addicted to like
you can really
abortions or
thank
something.
Vince McMahon for some of that he did. He did change it from carny professional wrestling where it was closer to where they were trying to fake a sport to now it is it's entertainment going in.
Yeah,
and that's its whole
this is a
purpose.
show.
He's always said that he doesn't put on a wrestling show. He makes movies.
Yeah.
He puts on, these elaborate, ridiculous, over-the-top extravaganzas
Yeah.
because that's what he wants to present. He wants his legacy to be that rather than I was a pro wrestling promoter, which feels to him like a carny.
Yeah, like a carnival barker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's
Come
a
on over here,
traveling
step up and
circus,
watch.
Which there's something to be said. That's what professional wrestling was founded in, is in carnies.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes all the way back to look at the terminology that's used by the indies the insiders, like a mark. The reason that wrestling fans that know the inside stuff are called marks is because back in the carny days, whenever you would walk up to someone, the carny would walk up to you, touch your arm, and mark you with perhaps chalk. That way, the rest of the carnies know that, hey, this guy right here, this is your guy, this is your target. You've been marked. So it just the terminology harkens back to just hokey carny stuff. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's founded in carnival folk, and it will always be beloved by us carnival folk.
That's right. And we are grounded in our carnival ways, all right? I love funnel cake, all right? All right, guys. So I hope you like the sports show thing we're going on. I'm going to go ahead and remind you again. Right now, we're just kind of like calling it Sports Talk with Hoot and B.T. You guys, man, we're actually looking to our listeners to name this show. So send us a message, send us an email, send us whatever you can to get us something going as far as a title for this show. But neither here nor there. Hope you enjoyed. You can find us at the Hoot Hobbs Show on all the socials and all that good stuff. So from BT and myself, we're going to enjoy this seventh inning stretch and bid you good night.